I'll let you in on a little secret. This has to be take 50, take 55. I don't really know. I started recording it around 11:30. It's now 4:19 a.m. So you know what? If I make any mistakes, if I go loopy, as I already am, I'm just going to keep going. Hello YouTubers, this is cessnaace back again with another video, a game ads video this time, and I'm going to be concentrating primarily on homebrews, although I did receive a request to show my collection of custom reproductions for the 2600, so I will be doing that as well as showing the games that I received yesterday. Now, before I do any of this, I need to a big thumbs up and say thank you to a supporter of mine at Patreon/cessnaace, and that would be Mark McEllicott, because in my previous video I mentioned, it was a Laserdisc ads video, I mentioned that when I tried to access my account, my cessnaace account at the Laserdisc database, I found that my account was frozen due to a long period of inactivity. A long period of inactivity, as long as my inactivity was on YouTube. So I requested if anybody out there, because I couldn't get into the site, I could get into the site, but I couldn't get into my account. I requested that anybody watching that video, if they had an account or if they had a way to contact the site administrator, to please do that. And I got a message from Mark McEllicott letting me know that he had sent a private message to the site administrator, Julian. I got 2 emails from Julian, one letting me know that my account was now unfrozen, and I checked, and it is. And the second one, and that one, I was like that close to my account going poof, because it had been so long since I'd done anything with that account that it was going to go bye-bye. And so if I wanted to have an account there, he didn't go into all this, but I know I would have to start another account, and I would have to most probably create a different account name, and I would have to enter in my entire Laserdisc CED and VHD video disc collections back in, one at a time. So thank you, Mark McEllicott, and thank you, Julian, if you see this video, because it saves me a lot of work, believe me. And my account, by the way, has always been, when it's active, visible for all to see. So anybody can go there, look up cessnaace, and see the Laserdisc CEDs and VHDs that I have, and from what countries, because I have them from the US, Japan, Germany, Singapore, the Philippines, the Netherlands. I have them from all over, and I even have some test pressings for releases that got canceled. So that's the only way test pressings get in there, because all Laserdiscs have a test pressing. So the only time you can enter one in is if it didn't get released. That wasn't a release, you know what I mean? Probably not making any sense, am I? Okay, the games that I received today are a nice alphabetical order. Everything else is in 2 boxes. So I'm going to show what's in the 2 boxes first. I'm just going to reach into the boxes and pull things out willy-nilly, and we'll go from there. First up is a homebrew. This is one of the homebrews that I had pulled. I can't remember if I said this or not, but I'm going to keep going. I had a box full of cartridges, and I had a stack of manuals, and by the end I was done with the cartridges, but I still had manuals. I had forgotten to pull some of the cartridges. Now I've forgotten to pull the manuals, so there you go. Alright, this first one is by Michael Haas. Now, he does a lot of sound work with homebrews, so I was kind of surprised to find that he had done an entire game And the way I found out about this game, well, I saw it at Atari Age, but I didn't know anything about it. Somebody submitted a score for it at highscore.com, and a really high score too. And they had a play video, and it looked interesting, so I thought I'd give it a try. It is called Flappy. Now you control a bird who I think has forgotten how to glide, and you fly through sets of pipes, and for each pair of pipes that you fly through, you get a point. Now on the label, you probably couldn't see it, it was probably out of focus, but they have a score of 0005. My high score so far is 4, even though the highest score at highscore.com is, I believe, over 800. That's the one with the play video. I'm never going to get that high because since your bird really doesn't know how to glide, you have to constantly be doing this on the action button. Faster than that, actually, and I can't do that anymore. I don't use an Atari 2600 joystick usually. On games programmed for it, I use a Sega Genesis gamepad because they're hardware compatible. But even on a Sega Genesis controller, 4 is the best I've been able to do so far with Flappy. Copyright 2014, Michael Haas. Audio-visual concept, label, and program. All right. This next one is a custom reproduction that I showed in my Draconian video because I had ordered the box upgrade. I got the cartridge, I got the full colored manual, the full colored poster, but no box. So I contacted Al at Atari Age, and within 2 days, I had the box. But it felt like it had a cartridge in it when I squeezed it. Opened it upside down, so that's what I saw. This game, the original, is going to set you back a lot of money. This reproduction didn't. From Men of Vision, which a lot of people say is a weird name for a company, Men of Vision, but I think of it as Men of Vision. If you say it fast enough, Men of Vision, 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 whatever. Air raid. A loose cartridge will cost you thousands, especially if it's in this kind of condition. A boxed copy, complete, with manual, in poor condition, is probably going to set you back around $30,000. I think the highest price paid for one in such condition was $36,000 in an auction. I saw a video not too long ago of it was made by a guy who used to work in retail, I think, and he had dealings with the sales reps for the various publishers, and the sales rep for Men of Vision came in and showed him the game, and I can't remember if he said the store picked up any copies or not. Probably didn't, but what it was the sales guy said he got word that it was a canceled release, so he wound up giving it to the guy. Now this guy in the video has a massive collection of games for the 2600 that are in pristine condition, and his copy of Air Raid Complete is pristine. So this is just an estimate, but if it went up for sale on auction, it would probably go for around $50,000. This is not a bad game, but $50,000, not moi. Okay, this is one I meant to show. It is a homebrew port of an arcade game. that I'm wondering if Atari must have had plans to release this for the 7800, because on the label there is a part number that matches what Atari would have assigned this game, if that makes any sense. CX7813, reprogrammed by Pac-Man Plus in 2009. Junior Pac-Man. Okay, another homebrew port of an arcade game for the 7800. This one by Bob DiCrescenzo, who is a major name in the homebrew community, especially when it comes to the 7800. This is a port of Asteroids Deluxe. All these games are still available at Atari Age. This one originally came out though in 2007. It has a part number assigned to it, CX78AD. I don't know what the AD stands for. Oh, Asteroids Deluxe. It just hit me. And I believe this is the last one that I was going to show you but didn't show you because I didn't pull the cartridges. The Atari Age has the rights to all Evavision homebrews. And this was the first homebrew from Evavision that they released. It has a part number of EBI-01. It is a platformer called Alfred Challenge. Now, I'm kind of competitive, not necessarily against other people, against myself. I try to beat my previous scores all the time, or best lap time, or whatever, if it's a racing game. This game has no scoring component at all. Therefore, I rarely pull it out and try it because I don't much see the point. Now I'm going to hear from people who are fans of the game or something. Another custom reproduction. This one was originally published by Bomb, and for some strange reason on the label, the publisher's name is more prominent than the name of the game, which is Assualt. Now, I haven't shown this cartridge before, unless you are someone who votes at highscore.com, in which case you probably did see this cartridge, because I always show the cartridges when I submit a score. I know I showed this custom reproduction. It was the first one I ever got. Demolition Herbie. Now, the reason why I ordered it was because at the time, whenever I would go on eBay, see, this was released in two different versions. In a standard cartridge like this, but with a black and white label, the cartridges I was finding were in ratty condition, and they were going for around $50. Has a rarity rating of 6, that version. The handle cartridge version, which has a color label like this one, the cartridge is different though. That has a rarity rating of 7. And I was finding ratty looking cartridges for it going for around $75 to $80 or more on eBay. And I wasn't willing to pay that. Subsequently, after getting this, I found a pristine handle cartridge of this. Everything pristine. The cartridge, the label, everything. $24.98 with free shipping. So I jumped on that. You better believe it. Now, since I got it, it has, I should have pulled it so I could show it, but these things right here, they stick out further. And trying to put the original in my 7800, it doesn't like going into that cartridge slot. It feels like it's going to break something. So whenever I play Demolition Herbie, on my 7800, I use the reproduction copy, not the original, because I don't want to damage the cartridge and I don't want to damage the 7800. Okay, another custom reproduction. Spectre Video and Spectre Vision cartridges do not look like this. This is a Spectre Video cartridge. Well, it's a reproduction of a game from Spectre Video. See, I'm not making any sense. Gas Hog. This is actually a pretty good game. It's fairly interesting in the way it controls, or the way it's configured, because it has two levels, and on the top level you're driving forward, and on the lower level you're driving backwards, which takes a little getting used to, but it is a good game. Okay, my last custom reproduction. This one, I had made a mistake when I ordered it from Atari Age. I ordered it for use with a legacy cartridge. In other words, a donor cartridge. But this game requires the melody board, because the melody board can handle all dip switch settings possible for the 2600, but also this game has music throughout, just like the arcade game it is a port of. This was released by Tiger Vision, and it was officially licensed by them. River Patrol. I've never seen the arcade original, although I have seen play videos of it at Atari, not at Atari Age, iScore.com. I'm not going to start over. Okay, now we're moving on to what I received yesterday. The first one is a custom reproduction. It says right on it, reproduction. It also says promo. And it also has a fancy label, which the original didn't. In fact, it barely had a label at all. This, as far as I know, was one of the only official ROM hacks from back in the day. It is a ROM hack of Space Invaders called Pepsi Invaders, also known as Coke Wins. This game was commissioned by Coca-Cola. Atari took their version of Space Invaders and they changed it. So instead of a row of 6 invaders, you have the letters Pepsi, P-E-P-S-I, and then an extra, alien, or an alien because you ran out of letters. And at the top in the left part of the screen is the word in a big font, Coke. Now at the end of the game comes wins, so Coke wins. The reason Coca-Cola commissioned this game from Atari is to hand out at a 1983 sales convention that Coca-Cola was having. So they handed these out to the originals, out to their sales representatives and so forth. But sure didn't have a fancy label like that. Now, you're not shooting from a Coke bottle, but it does replace the flying saucer with a flying Pepsi bottle cap. When I first asked Al via email about this game and the fact that I knew it didn't have a label originally, he said, well, he had a fancy label for it anyway. So here it is. Fancy label and all. It says promo, and then under the copyright information it says reproduction, but you're never going to make that out with my camera. Okay, the rest are strict homebrews that I received yesterday. How coincidental. Just did Pepsi Invaders. I have Space Instigators. This is actually, in many ways, a more faithful port of Space Invaders for the 2600 than what Atari released, because what Atari released only had a row of 6 invaders, whereas the arcade version has 9, and this has 9 without any flicker. The only problem is that saucer that flies overhead is too fast. So shooting at it is one thing. Hitting it is a matter of sheer chance. I have a part number on this of CT2632. Label, program, and audio-visual, copyright 2002, Christopher L. Tumber. Obviously still available at Atari Age because that's where I got it. This is the fancy manual. Don't know if you'll be able to make that out. Press Game Select for Infinite Lives, Collector's Edition only. I tried that with this one and it doesn't work. So that was taken out, obviously. Okay. This was a mistake. Not on my part, on Atari Age's part. I ordered a port of this game, but not for this system. They have this game for the 2600 and the 7800. It's a port of an arcade game. I had ordered the 7800 version by Bob DiCrescenzo because I wanted to try it first before trying the version for the 2600 by John W. Champeau of Champ Games. Well, I was sent the 2600 version, and actually this hurt Atari Age because this sells for $5 more than the 7800 version does, primarily because this version, well, A, has, well, they both have full color manuals, but with what Champ Games does with a lot of their manuals is the backstory, you know, for the game, they do it as a comic book. Now this one is broken up with all the gameplay information that you need in the middle. And then it continues on with the story. How cool is that? Now, the reason why I think it does cost $5 more, and I know it does cost $5 more than the 7800 version, is because the 7800 version doesn't have a poster. This is 10 inches by 14 inches. If I forgot to mention it, I did contact Al. I did it a couple hours ago. Well, more than a couple hours ago, before I started this recording marathon session. I, of course, got more of these Atari Age stickers, unused, of course. Now, in my blog at Atari Age, I kind of made a fool of myself because I had begged people in the homebrew community to do a port of the arcade game Space Zap, which somebody at highscore.com posted a play video for via emulation, and it looked like a game I wanted to play. Only to find out there is a homebrew port of Space Zap called Assault. And if you are familiar with Space Zap, this will look familiar to you. This is a screenshot of Vault Assault. Now, unlike Space Sap, which has the levels broken up with a orbiting satellite that you have to take out, at which point the game stops, and if you're deserving of an extra life, you get one. So you have a brief pause before the action resumes. There's no orbiting satellite in this, so there's no pause. It's just constant action. Now, I've only managed to get up to level 7. It says, the gameplay of this cartridge is identical to the original version of Vault Assault, with minor alterations. The difficulty switches are not used. No Easter egg or special hidden message is included. Which makes me think, oh, they were originally. And the difficulty continues to increase beyond level 9 the longer you survive, eventually making it impossible to continue. The goal is then to score as many points as possible before running out of vaults. I spent so much time playing the game that I didn't try this next part. If you want a slightly different challenge, plug a joystick into the right controller port, press the joystick fire button, and get ready. Thanks for your interest and good luck. So, since this is constant action and no breather, it gets rather hectic. But if you like Space Sap, I can recommend this game. Vault Assault. Alright, that's going to do it for me. So they have to put me in a vault. Until next time, stay awesome.